Shows Ghanaians that recent surge in COVID-19 cases is localized and under control, contradicting expert assessment that the cases are widespread, indicating a possible complex situation.
Also, Attorney General files fresh application at the High Court seeking to strike out the suspended Chief Justice's judicial review case.
Hold those in authority accountable, including myself. That's the charge from President Mahama as thousands of Ghanaians gathered in unity, prayer, and thanksgiving.
Also in the bulletin, we'll bring you the inspiring story of a visually impaired student who has made history, first to graduate with a perfect 4.0 FGPA at the University of Ghana. At 8 p.m., Pius Baka brings us prime business.
Tax consultant Francis Timobo expresses doubt government will achieve its revenue target for the year despite the implementation of the modified taxation scheme today.
We are starting a bit late and the targets may not be realized. Amidst the education that we have not done, for me, I think that we need to be more aggressive.
At 8:30 p.m., we'll have Prime Sports.
Well, the National Sports Authority holds Brian A. Champions in Koko Stadium project over failure to seek clearance from the authority before work began.
Remember, we are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. We're back in a bit. Stay tuned in.
Let's begin from the health front, because tonight, Health Minister Kobina Minta-Akando is calming Ghanaians, insisting there is no cause for alarm over the recent rising cases of COVID-19 in the country. More than 300 suspected cases have been recorded, with 107 cases now confirmed. There are, however, no hospitalizations and fatalities. Barely 24 hours ago, Noguchi Memorial Institute warned that Ghana is currently not only experiencing a localized resurgence of COVID-19, but is also receiving cases from different parts of the region or of the country. Now, Professor Kofi Boni is the head of virology at the Noguchi Memorial Institute.
Then way down, somewhere in May, we started getting cases from other regions. Eastern region, we have some few cases there. Greater Accra, some parts outside the university district, the district that university is situated, we have some cases coming in. Volta region, Ashanti region. So we have had cases from all these regions. But you see, what broke the camel's back was, it was 2 weeks ago, where we had an overwhelming number of cases from the university community. That is what maybe gave reason to the circular that the university sent around, that then the university the university community should be aware of what is happening so that they will take the needed precautions. So yes, it is not a localized resurgence, I would say. We'll be having these cases, and it is expected because we are in the rainy season. And during this time, we are expecting to have a lot of these respiratory infections coming up, especially the influenza-like illness. Yes, we are talking about not causing severe disease, but spreading very fast and getting a wider scope of people, within a short time. But when we have vulnerable groups within the society, then we should be very careful, because it may not be so severe on the very, let's say, immune competent persons or younger ones. But what about those who are vulnerable in the society?
However, delivering an urgent statement in Parliament, the Health Minister explained that the situation is under control and currently confined to the University of Ghana campus.
The recent COVID-19 cases are localized at the University of Ghana community only. I'm proud to inform this House that the cases were detected through Ghana's influenza surveillance system and confirmed by the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. This national network of Sentinel sites operates across all 16 regions. While many countries have scaled down or even stopped routine COVID-19 testing, Ghana has continued to integrate COVID-19 monitoring into its broader surveillance of respiratory viruses. This foresight and commitment to preparedness allowed us to detect the current outbreak easily and respond swiftly. It is a clear demonstration of Ghana's leadership in maintaining vigilance even at the end of the global emergency phase. This should reassure all Ghanaians that should there be any cases outside the university campus, our surveillance system remains active and ready to detect and respond effectively.
Now, the Health Minister, Kobina Minta-Kando, revealed that the spread was occasioned by a recent Whole Week celebration on the University of Ghana campus. He explains that all support has been provided to the University of Ghana to contain the spread. Now, Alexander Kwesiakwa is a member of the Health Committee in Parliament, and Tony Goodman is the spokesperson for the Health Ministry. They both join us for more. Let me begin with you, Tony Goodman. Which of these should we take? The experts are telling us this is not a localized situation, but the minister tells us this is localized. Which should we go with? Kindly unmute so we hear what you're saying.
Thank you. Good evening to our viewers. Both statements. Let's take both information from these persons. One, the Honorable Minister for Health has indicated that like diseases across the country. We also have mpox we are dealing with, and we have cholera, which is also surging up due to the rainy season. This particular flu-like viruses that we have picked up is currently happening in some of the campuses and other schools, not in Legon. It's also happening in other parts of the country. So these are two separate information we need to process and process well. The minister spoke about what is happening in Legon. The director from Noguchi spoke about influenza-like outbreak we have across the country.
So is that to say that we are not recording any COVID-19 cases from other parts of the country?
The system, or the Sentinel system we have across the country, which picked up this particular outbreak at the University of Ghana campuses, has not picked any of this in any part of the country. That is the influenza-like we just referred to. And we want to increase our efforts at the University of Ghana campus and make sure that we kept this particular virus to its barest minimum. So that is what we're currently dealing with. Around the municipality where this university is, the Ayawaso West Wogon area, the district municipal health directorate is also working around the clock to make sure that we don't record additional cases out of the campuses. So they have also moved in on campus and are helping in curbing this particular virus. They are also helping in the social mobilization and risk aspect. Today, the Minister for Health was on campus and donated some protective items to these health workers who are actually helping to combat this virus on campus.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Let me bring in Alexander Kwesiakwa at this point. Would you say you are happy with the government handling of
time that nobody knew exactly what COVID was about? So I said somewhere that if history is to be kind to the NPP government and the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, then it's a time like this. now I'm sure we have a lot of ideas as to how to handle this condition, and so it becomes a bit easier. So we want to believe in the minister's assurance that this is something that is containable.
You sit on the health committee. Are you getting any contradictory report from other parts of the country? Because the minister tells us this is actually happening only on the University of Ghana campus. But on the health committee, are you getting any other report whether these cases have been reported in other parts of the country?
Well, there's a reason last Friday during the business statement deliberations, we insisted that the minister comes to the house today to come and brief us on how far where our preparedness to contain what has been reported on the campus of the University of Ghana. And so this is the first attempt to let them understand that the situation is under control. We do not have any reason to doubt the minister because we know the kind of work our government did in putting in place measures contain such a condition, such a resurgence. Some of the things that we're criticized for, now everybody will see the relevance of them. And so let's monitor the situation and let's be very hopeful that this doesn't spread to become a major health issue to deal with. Because, I mean, as you know, we may not have the capacity as a country or as a government to deal with it like it happened in the past. And it's not too strange as of now as compared to when it happened the last time when it was. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Let's move on to some other stories. An Attorney General has filed an application at the Human Rights Division of the High Court in Accra seeking to strike out Chief Justice Gertrude Sakitokunu's early application for judicial review, citing a serious misstatement of capacity and the failure to include essential parties, errors that render the process null and void. In the opinion of the AG, we will bring details of that writ shortly. But first, here is the embattled Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Sakitoku, who revealed they have filed fresh processes at the High Court to thwart the committee's proceedings, and she spoke at a news conference a week ago.
It is this total absence of compliance with all known rules of fair hearing that has caused my lawyers to file applications for judicial review in the High Court to declare all the proceedings void. Because the clear danger is that through this flagrant violation of CI 47 and the darkness of the current proceedings being held in camera behind the walls of a Edu Lodge, my lawyers and I can come to the end of the proceedings. The evidence will show that every one of those allegations in the petitions that were given to me on 27th March is unfounded and untrue.
Now, a member of our legal affairs desk, Kwaku Asante, joins us with more details of the fresh processes filed by the AG. Kwaku, if you can hear me, what can you report?
Noella, the details are that following the suspended Chief Justice's decision to file those processes at the High Court, couched in the manner of a judicial review and a human rights application, seeking to get the High Court to rule that the entire process that is currently underway by way of the Article 146 committee chaired by Justice Gabriel Porman, the Chief Justice contends that the process is shrouded in illegality. It breaches a fundamental human right as a person, and that is why she has filed that action at the High Court. Today, the Attorney General has responded, and under the hand of the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Srem Sai, and also by an affidavit deposed by a staff of the Attorney General's Department. The big contention they make is that the chunk of the Chief Justice's contentions have already been decided on by the Supreme Court in a number of cases, which have all already been dismissed, also in one that she filed personally. But also the CJ's contention are still pending before the Supreme Court. We know that the Chief Justice is currently before the Supreme Court, although the application she filed for injunction has been dismissed. The substantive application has not yet been dealt with. And the Attorney General's claim is that the suspended Chief Justice is simply repeating and rehashing these same claims that are currently before the court, part of which have been dismissed at the High Court. And the High Court, which is a lower court than the Supreme Court, cannot purport to actually hear this matter. And so the Attorney General has now filed an application seeking to dismiss the entirety of the case filed by suspended Chief Justice at the High Court.
Kwaku, thank you so much for that update. Meanwhile, the People's National Party has petitioned the Asantehene Otumfuo II to intervene in the recent suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, led by its 2024 presidential candidate Janet Nabla. The PNP delegation presented the petition at the Menchia Palace, urging the Asantehene to use his influence to call on President John Mahama to revoke the suspension of the Chief Justice. There's more on the following report.
The People's National Party, led by its flag bearer in the 2024 presidential election, Janet Nabla, among other executives of the National Party, came to the Menchia Palace. This was to present a petition to the Asantehene Otumfuo II to intervene in the suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. According to Janet Nabla, the suspension of the Chief Justice strengthens the independence of the judiciary and undermines the country's democratic institutions.
Political parties are supposed to run a country. And to run a country, whatever is happening to the Chief Justice is not part of running the country. We have seen that as an abuse, not only on the Chief Justice, but the women of Ghana. We see what the NDC, John Mahama administration, whatever they are doing to the woman as an abuse of power. And we think that since all protocols are no longer working, our justice system has become an annex of political parties. We decided that we will come to Menchia Palace because we know that our tradition has already shown us. They were there before this democracy we inherited came along. So if our democracy is not working, we will go back to our roots and ask the chiefs, who are the custodians of the land, to tell the Mahama government, who is just renting part of the land to operate, to call him to order.
She further argues that the ongoing committee hearing betrays the judicial independence.
So today we are here we've presented our petition. We've cried about whatever violations are emitting out to the Chief Justice. We've outlined them in the petition, and we have given it to the Otumfuo's secretary. What is more painful is that today they said they are celebrating Thanksgiving. How do you come out and give thanks to God when you are vindictive in nature, you are wicked in nature, when your modus operandi is to punish your enemies, whether they commit a crime or not, they must be punished. Then you turn around that you are doing national Thanksgiving. We know very well that they should have been celebrating a National Day of Repentance instead of National Day of prayer. So Thanksgiving, we haven't seen any Thanksgiving anywhere. So today we are here to tell the whole of Ghana that whatever you saw after the Chief Justice came out and delivered his speech, whatever you saw is not real.
Well, away from that, it's been 175 days of silence, questions and growing pressure. But tomorrow, government is finally set to unveil what it calls its game changer, the much-touted 24-hour economic policy. They campaign on it. They promise it will tackle joblessness and boost productivity. The full policy document is out, and so are the details. My colleague Caleb Ziblim from our research desk has been digging into that document, and he joins us in studio. Caleb, what do you have?
Okay, so from the 24-hour economy policy document, we see that it's in two strands. The first strand is incentivizing businesses. And this is what we all heard about before the 2024 elections, where they said they will give businesses some incentives to work for 24 hours. But then the new strand is that they are going to perform deep structural change. We're trying to overhaul the entire Ghanaian sector when it comes to business operations.
Right.
When it comes to the incentivizing businesses, which is what everyone is looking out for, the first is that there are going to be corporate income exemptions and reductions. So if you operate for 2 shifts a day, they're going to reduce your corporate income tax by 25%.
Okay.
If you operate for the 3 shifts, that's the 24-hour economy, they're going to reduce your income tax by 50%.
Okay.
Also, they're going to be targeted VAT exemptions for consumers, which means that price of goods on the market will also go down so that we can now purchase more and then boost production as well.
Right.
Time of use electricity tariffs. If as an organization you are working more hours, your tariffs on electricity is also going to go down. And then long-term, low-interest rate loans from the Development Bank of Ghana as well to try and scale up operations of these businesses.
Okay.
And then finally, no import duties for the importation of raw materials and some key selected machinery and logistics needed for production.
Right.
But then when it comes to the structural change, and this is where things get a bit interesting, they are going to develop agroecological parks around the Volta Lake. So because of the proximity to the Volta Lake and irrigation systems, there's going to be now large parks or large areas of land where people can go there and then have farms.
Farming and
exactly.
all that.
And then this is going to be supported by the government. So there are going to be incentives, there's going to be fertilizer and everything needed for the park to thrive. Also, farming clusters around major or urban centers. Now, this is because, if the production happens in, say, the northern region or in the Ashanti region, it has to come down to various urban centers in Cape Coast and Accra.
But in Accra, the major city, where do we have the land for that?
So they're going to use greenhouse technology. So instead of the traditional farming methods, they're going to have greenhouses all over urban centers. So even if the land is not suitable for a type of crop,
right,
they can still grow it around the urban center to reduce the transportation costs. And the national irrigation system from the Volta Lake. So now the Volta Lake is going to go across the country, supplying irrigation systems for farms all across the country. And then industrial parks across the country. So like the agroecological parks, these are going to be mainly for manufacturing, where they set up factories and other plants for manufacturing. And the interesting thing is that these parks are going to have their own electricity grid. So they will not rely mainly on
the national grid.
Exactly. So they're going to have solar panels and then biogas for their use. And then they rely on the national grid only when there's stress or something similar. But then the most important part is the cost. Because all this sounds good, but can the government be able to fund all these projections and proposals? Well, they need $4 billion. And this is according to the 24-hour Economy Secretariat.
Yeah.
And then the government will provide $300 million. That's about 8% of the total cost. So for the 92%, or that's $3.2 billion, it's going to come through public-private partnerships. And then we don't have the details on how that is going to take over years, but then that's the government.
Great, thank you so much. I believe you're going to be still looking into that document and be bringing us up to date with more.
Now, imagine starting university education and losing your sight 2 years later. For many, that would have marked the end of the road, but not for Ephraim Aye Orakatete. He started afresh, overcame the odds, and made history, becoming the first student at the University of Ghana to graduate with a perfect final grade point average of 4.0. Emmanuel Jivenu has more in our Disabled series.
Joy like a river, joy like a river.
He dances not just to celebrate a degree, but also to mark a moment in history. The song on his lips is one of triumph and joy.
Even though we graduate as a group, each of us has a unique story of perseverance and achievement that deserves recognition. Joy like a river, joy like a river.
Meet Ephraim Aye Orakatete, a young man who defied the odds and made history at the University of Ghana. Today, he stands as a valedictorian, the first student to graduate with a perfect 4.0 FGPA in the history of the University of Ghana.
He's graduating on top of his cohorts and with a final grade point average of 4.0. We have checked our records, and at least for the last 10 years, possibly more, we are yet to find any student of this great university with a perfect score like Ephraim achieved.
I feel very excited that I've challenged myself to do something that hasn't been done in a way. So I'm very, very excited about it. Give the Lord a dance. Magnify his name.
Ephraim has faced life's harshest trials, but he turned every obstacle into an opportunity. His visual impairment could have been a limitation, but for Ephraim, it was a reason to push even harder.
Let us remember these values that has brought us here today. That resilience will help us navigate challenges. Technology will empower us to innovate, and humanism will keep us grounded in our interactions with others.
At age 10, Ephraim's vision began to fade. By his second year at KNUST, where he studied painting and sculpture, his sight had deteriorated. It seemed like the end of the road.
I've always had issues with my sight, but it sort of worsened whilst I was in level 200 in KNUST. I followed up trying to see if I could get medical help, but there was a 50-50 chance. The things I tend to see, it's not there.
When Monyamusha or they are safe, Yeninda, then Yamepe, annoying.
History has been made, and the future, it is only just beginning. Emmanuel Jivenu, JoyNews, Legon.
You're still watching JoyNews Prime with us here, but still to come. Hold those in authority accountable, including myself. That's the charge from President Mahama as thousands of Ghanaians gathered in unity, prayer, and thanksgiving.
Hey, Charlie, what number? The malaria really knocked you down, eh?
Hey, Charlie, no joke. Fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu.
You and your fufu. But I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment.
Yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing artemether and lumefantrine. Comes in tablets and suspension for effective treatment of malaria.
Great to have you back. Thank you. No problem.
Malatu is suitable for adults and children. Manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Are you struggling to own a decent home with your limited earnings, or are you breaking the bank to construct that?
We pray. Prayers, you cannot do without prayers, because even when you are in a sad moment or you feel you want to achieve some target, and that target you feel there should be some support that you needed most, it's prayers that will give you that support. Because the moment, anytime you pray, it's like you are getting closer to your God and you are expecting some good response or good achievement from it. You see, so for prayers is good. You see, they didn't waste time. What amazed me is they didn't take the whole day shouting. They focused on what they were doing and they did it and they left.
Kwaku, we must be thankful of so many things. Even the peace that we enjoy as a country, we must be thankful of it. We probably may not be able to compare ourselves to the standards that we want to have achieved by now. But be that as it may, along the line, we've achieved so many things in our life as a country, 67, 68 years and counting. We've achieved so much. We have peace, we have significant improvements in infrastructure, in education, in all aspects. So we probably cannot sit alone. And even with that, we must be appreciative of what we've done, so that in thanking God, we can therefore call on His grace and favor, so that it will strengthen us as citizens and individuals to do more to achieve what we would want to achieve that we've not gotten there. So yes, it is not that we've not achieved anything. We may have fallen short of what we intend wanting to have achieved by now.
Meanwhile, as the day was marked with both Christian and Islamic congregations, concerns have been raised about the perceived exclusion of traditionalists. Some members of parliament are calling on government to ensure that future celebrations are inclusive of traditional religion adherents. Nufialaga Maupemo Kwabla Nonyibe is acting research officer for the Africana Mission and has joined us via Zoom for some reaction. Thank you for your time. First, confirm for us, has the mission, the Africana Mission, received any official invitation to this particular Thanksgiving Day?
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Nufialaga Maufomo Koblano Nyibe. Let me answer your question in this manner. And in all honesty, we have not received any invitation from the National Planning Committee to this event.
Why so? Is it that you have no secretariat that the government could have written to?
I don't think it's the issue of national secretariat. Africana Mission has a national secretariat. And aside that, the Katakyiefm Association is also there, which puts together all the African traditional believers under one umbrella, just as Africana Mission is doing. So in such an event, we need to invite all these three religions that we have in the country. Now, to sideline us or to exclude us, the traditional African traditional believer religion, let me put it that way, it's not the best way to go. It does not promote national cohesion or national development, because we also have a role to play in the national development of this country. So then, something of this nature that African traditional believers should be excluded, I think this mistake should not be repeated again.
Right, going forward, what would be your proposal to the government for subsequent events like this?
Yeah, thank you very much. We are after this Africana Mission with other wings of the African traditional believers. We are going to petition government so that in the near future, our presence is added, or we are called upon to be part of this, and not only to be part of the National Day of Thanksgiving and prayer, but also we are also going to put a petition for a national holiday to be given to us. We are the custodians of the land. All other foreign religions like Christianity, Islamic religion, all of them came to meet our national, let's say, all of them came to meet our indigenous way of life, tradition, and spirituality. And if we are going to pray for our land, first and foremost, we need to acknowledge our Asian fathers, our ancestors who first.
I think the point is well made, that you're going to petition the government to correct this anomaly, as you call it. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on JoyNews Prime.
Moving on, in the Upper West region, Ghanaians have been urged not to take the peace and blessings of the nation for granted at a special national prayer and Thanksgiving service in Wa. Speakers called on citizens to reflect on your actions and embrace positive change for national development and prosperity. Rafiq Salam reports.
We're reviewing, we are reflecting. That's what the president said. We reflect, we refix, and we review Ghana in our prayer, that we can have prosperity in the country Ghana.
Our President Minister Charles Wongo Posun Esquire, who joined them to observe the day, called for a sober reflection of how far they have come as a people.
We must reflect soberly. The trials must reflect soberly how far we have come as a people. The triumphs we celebrate, the trials we endure, and the troubling moral drifts we must urgently arrest.
Also present was the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations and MP for Wa Central, Dr. Rashid Hassan Pelpu.
We've had a very painful experience in the past, but for the Lord, nothing seems to be impossible. So we stand here today to support the collective prayer for peace, collective prayer for the progress of the nation.
The next and final stop for the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Day was at the Wa Central Orthodox Mosque. Muslim clerics converged there for the occasion.
It was a dramatic showdown in Sunyani as Sacred Heart Senior High School pulled off a stunning upset, narrowly beating Sunyani Senior High School by 3 points to clinch victory in the final contest of the Bunu Regional Qualifiers of the 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz. Collins Frimpon and Adobia Sari have more.
Science, we don't talk much. We just show action. Just
we brought Yesu.
We brought Yesu. We brought Sepaga.
The curtain has closed on the Bunu region with Sacred Heart SHS stealing the spotlight in the final contest, edging out host school and reigning regional champions Sunyani SHS by just 3 points.
Well, we know that by all means everything is by God's grace. They qualify because God allows them to qualify. So if it's our turn, we are also going to qualify. So there was nothing to be scared of.
First of all, we say thanks be to God, but we started with the force of God. In science, we have something we say that for work to be done, force move through a distance, and that is work done. With the force of God, through the distance of preparation, traveling, trials, sleepless nights, now the work is done.
Their 49 points secured them a place in the national championship, their second appearance in the competition's history, and also secured a spot in the regional finals scheduled for Thursday. Despite coming second in their contest, Sunyani SHS, with their strong performance, securing at least 40 points was enough to secure a place in the nationals as the competition's rules say. Ahafu region also began its contest today with Samuel Otu Presbyterian Senior High Technical School securing a place in the national championship in the opening contest, while MEM SHS also booked a spot for the second time in their history.
Massacre the girls and finish everybody. Yes, we're going to finish everybody. Sewakese is prepared. This year is for us.
Sewakese Girls' SHS won the last Ahafu contest with the highest points amassed in the regional contest, 56. In the Western region, Shama SHS and Sekendi College and St. Mary's boys, who are making their third consecutive appearance at the national competition, have all booked their spots in the next stage of the championship.
A message for St. John's: even though you are the current regional title holders, this year you are coming for it.
For Sekendi College, there are only 2 schools in Ghana, Sekendi College and the rest. So we are really, really prepared.